China and Japan are at war, the Sino-Japanese War. And so the Japanese are moving through China pretty quickly. 1941 is an important date because that's when they moved in and took over French Indochina, which is where Vietnam and Laos are today, right here. Well, in response to that, with everything happening in Europe in 1941, right? A lot going on in the Netherlands, right in, right? And so, in response to that, the United States, still being neutral, wanted to slow Japan down. We were supplying Japan with 80% of their oil. So we cut off their oil. We got the Dutch and the British that go in with us. We ended up cutting off 93% of their oil. Now, Japan's at war. They need oil, rubber, and tin, so they have their eyes set on the Dutch East Indies. Okay? They figured the Dutch are busy defending the homeland, so this is open. They're going to move into that, which is Indonesia today, but they have a problem. The United States has bases in the Philippines, Guam, Saipan, Wake, Midway, and our entire fleet here in Hawaii. So there's a large barrier in the way of the Japanese getting to the Dutch East Indies. And so they decided they're going to attack first. Next in the attack would be the torpedo bombers, okay? The Kates were carrying two types of ordnances. Some of them were carrying torpedoes, which were modified for Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor is actually very shallow. It's only 45 feet deep. And so the Japanese modified it so that it wouldn't end up in the mud. They put wooden fins on it. They came in only about 35 feet off the water, and that way they would not dive deep. The other Kates were carrying these armor-piercing bombs. These were also designed and modified. They were modified from a 16-inch gun shell. They put a hardened steel tip on the front. They put a delayed spinner fuse on the back. These were designed to be dropped from very high altitude to break into the interior of the ship. They would not ignite on contact. Once they got into the interior of the ship and the spinner would stop, then they would explode. So these were the two that they used. The torpedo bombers came from a couple different directions. 16 of them came from the north. 8 of them down this lock, which is the middle lock right there, and another 8 from this one over here, the east lock. And so what they were looking for, these 16 were looking for coming this way were aircraft carriers.
Was escorted down here and landed at this airfield where it sat like this for years and years. It's the only one on display in the world. And there's one in Great Britain, but it's in parts and they don't display it. But this was the only one on display in the world. One of the reasons that I point out, again, I had a 3-year tour in Japan at a Marine Corps Air Station that had been Admiral Yamamoto's zero base in World War II. At the end of the war, we know they went to the kamikaze style attacks. Well, this was a principal kamikaze aircraft because it could carry that 2,000-pound bomb. It was the heaviest capability. So they were all ferried down to the southern part of Japan, and in the Battle of Okinawa, most of them were destroyed. Kanehele comes up to him, and Drew Harada says, "Give it up. You're on an island. Where are you going to go?" Well, Nishikaichi thinks he's going to make his last stand. He shoots Kanehele 3 times with his 9mm pistol. As I indicated, Polynesians are the largest people in the world. 9mm only pissed off Mr. Kanehele. He took Mr. Airman Nishikaichi and threw him against a rock wall, knocking him unconscious. Mrs. Kanehele was more angry. She took a big rock and crushed his skull, killed him. Yeah, my wife will always tell me, yeah, he got the medal. He was awarded a medal later, and she did all the dirty work. So this is that airplane you see right here, and it sat in that field for years and years, and they've loaned it to us for display. It's an intriguing story. That's why we bring it up. So this was our first ground combat in World War II, right here. And Mr. Kanehele was awarded a Purple Heart and a medal from Congress for his efforts that month.